Well, last night's WWE Royal Rumble 2014 has certainly had a reaction online, on the wrestling websites, all across social media. It's had an absolutely massive reaction to last night's pay-per-view. Absolutely huge. Former WWE stars and legends like Mick Foley and Lance Storm have been tweeting about it. There's been Facebook posts about it. It's been all over the supposed IWC Internet Wrestling community. Absolutely huge reaction, and I mean a huge reaction. I was going to do this video earlier this morning, but I've been looking the last few hours all of the reactions on all these social media sites, Twitter, Facebook, etc., about the pay-per-view. And to be honest, I have a bit of a theory about it, which I'll get to at the end of this video, but certainly it has caused a massive reaction. The events of the pay-per-view have caused a massive reaction in the wrestling community. Well, what are they talking about? Well, first of all, the superstar panel for the Royal Rumble this year was the winner of the very first Royal Rumble in 1988, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels, and the Nature Boy Ric Flair, who of course won the only Royal Rumble match in 1982 to have, which was in 1982, to have been for the WWE Championship. Great superstar panel. Three guys who know the business inside out. The pre-show match was for the tag team titles. It was actually a good tag team match between the New Age Outlaws, Billy Gunn, and the Road Dogg versus Goldust and Cody Rhodes, the Brotherhood. Now, this was actually, obviously it was a short match. It only lasted about 10 minutes or so. I thought it was a really good tag team match. New Age Outlaws became the 6-time WWE Tag Team Champions, where they got Goldust outside. Billy Gunn ran him into the barricade. Cody Rhodes and the Road Dogg were battling inside the ring. Billy Gunn did a sly tag by slapping Road Dogg on the back. Cody Rhodes hit his disaster kick on the Road Dogg, but by that time Billy Gunn was the legal man, and as Cody Rhodes was getting up, Billy Gunn just jumped on Cody Rhodes, delivered the famouser, and 6-time WWE Tag Team Champions, now the New Age Outlaws. It was a decent tag team match. I wouldn't have minded seeing it actually happen on the pay-per-view. There's been a lot of good reaction from that match. I thought it was a short but good match. Three veteran hands in the Road Dogg, Billy Gunn and Goldust. Cody Rhodes is really, I think, on the verge of something huge in the WWE. I've said that for the past few months, but I also wanted to give a big shout out to Goldust, because his performances since he came back, and we may be on the final path, in the final times of Goldust in the WWE. He's only contracted to up to WrestleMania. What's going to happen there, we don't know, but he's been putting in some great performances, and Cody Rhodes has certainly benefited from it. Now to the Rumble event itself. Obviously, just 4 matches, including the Rumble match itself. First match was a fantastic match that went about 22 minutes, as Bray Wyatt defeated Daniel Bryan. Now, Bray Wyatt, I love the character, him and the Wyatt family. I think it's a lot different. They're really good performances. Obviously, they're not every day, so it's not just what we see in television on the Raws, the SmackDowns, but they do they do appearances, and they do the house shows, the live events. They really are blossoming into these roles. Now, it was a really good match, and I do think Bray Wyatt and Daniel Bryan have a lot of chemistry. Obviously, Daniel Bryan was a member of the Wyatt family, broke off from them a couple of weeks ago in the steel cage, attacked Bray Wyatt, and they set up this match. It was a really good match. I'm not going to go through blow for blow all these matches, because some people will be wanting to watch them themselves, but it was a really good match. I think that was certainly the match of the night. I think it was a really good match. Bray Wyatt is absolutely a great performer. Daniel Bryan, I've always known, great performer as well. Those two had a lot of great chemistry in the ring last night. Some great moments, including Daniel Bryan diving from the apron and giving a tornado DDT on Bray Wyatt on the outside. Bray Wyatt eventually started to get the upper hand on Daniel Bryan, and the end came for DB when he did try to do a suicide tope through the ropes onto Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt, amazing. It was a great, great moment when a great visual thing when he caught him, and then did the Sister Abigail, which is the swinging, swinging facebuster. He did it into the barrier, and then chucked eventually Daniel Bryan back into the ring, gave him another Sister Abigail Lehman right in the middle of the ring, pinned him for the 1-2-3. That was a really good match. Now the next match didn't go the way I expected it to, or really, to be honest, I think the way anybody expected to. It was Brock Lesnar versus The Big Show. Now this match was a very short match. It lasted less than 2 minutes. But overall, the whole process lasted about nearly 10 minutes, actually, in total. Big Show made his entrance first, then Brock Lesnar came down. Lesnar, before the referee could ring the bell, attacked the Big Show, got him on the ground, had him ground and pound was his air. He had him like a Lou Thesz press, like Steve Austin used to do, and was just punching him. He then got a steel chair and kept whacking the Big Show. And I mean, he whacked him hard. You saw later on, afterwards, the welts on the Big Show's back. He just kept whacking him and whacking him and whacking him with a steel chair. No, eventually, Big Show got up, almost, he was kind of really leaning on the ropes. Obviously, he must have told the referee, no, I'm going to fight or wrestle, because the referee was right up to the Big Show. Referee called for the bell rang. Brock Lesnar, who by then the referee had separated them to let Big Show up so they could actually officially start the match. Brock Lesnar came running at the Big Show with a steel chair. Big Show was able to deliver his knockout punch to Brock Lesnar, which sent Lesnar really woozy, and Big Show had the upper hand for literally about 30-45, maybe nearly a minute in the match, as Lesnar was really woozy. Rolled out to the outside. Big Show followed him, threw him around a little bit, but they very quickly got back into the ring, and Lesnar, who I don't know, it looked like a heck of a punch, so I'm not entirely sure how much Lesnar was actually selling it, but Lesnar was able to get the Big Show very quickly, because Big Show was really hurting after all the punishment with the steel chair. And I mean, he kept whacking him at the start of the match, punching him and really whacking him with the steel chair before the referee grabbed it off him. Brock Lesnar was able to get Big Show up onto his shoulders. He walked around the ring with him on his shoulders for about 10 seconds, delivered an F5. Lesnar then covered him for the 1-2-3 and the victory. Lesnar really was still very woozy. I don't know how it looked like a heck of a punch. If you look on the replay or watch it, it really was. Lesnar really did get caught with the fist from the Big Show. You see his head go right back when it got delivered. After the match, Lesnar again laid waste to the Big Show and actually broke a couple of steel chairs when doing so. And to be honest, Big Show looked genuinely hurt, and I wouldn't be surprised if he wasn't really hurt after continuous shots with the steel chairs after the match. I have to say, I really liked the reaction by Paul Heyman when Lesnar got caught with the knockout punch. He was just like, oh my god, and that typical Heyman reaction. Heyman's a great reactions. he really knows what he's doing. He was just like, oh my god, you know, it was absolutely really short match, but I actually thought it was good. Obviously, at least us into tonight's Monday Night Raw and seeing exactly what will happen between these two people. Like I said, when the officials held Big Show back up the aisle, he really did look genuinely hurt. Hope he's not hurt too much, but Lesnar, you know how big Lesnar is, 6'5". He was billed at 286 pounds. He's certainly at least 260, 270 pounds at least. Big, massive guy, really whacking to the steel chairs. I wouldn't be surprised if the Big Show isn't in action tonight on Raw. Now, the third match of the event, it was an okay match. I've never been really a huge fan of John Cena or Randy Orton, and they met for Randy Orton's WWE World Heavyweight Championship. I thought it wasn't too bad a match. It could have been. I've seen a couple of their matches that are a little bit worse. They each hit their each other's finishing maneuvers on them. So, you know, Randy Orton hit the AA on Cena, and Cena hit the RKO on Orton. It was an okay match. These two, as I said when I was talking about their match at TLC, these two guys are obviously seen by WWE as the faces of the company. It was a good match. The finish was really certainly a bit weird, because at the finish, the Wyatt family came out and cost Cena the match. They looked like they were going for Randy Orton and went for John Cena. Orton, obviously, you know, the Viper, the Snake, got right out of the way, slid right out of the way, stood outside the ring, and Bray Wyatt delivered the Sister Abigail to John Cena. Is this taking Cena out of the WWE World Heavyweight Championship picture for WrestleMania? We even see a tag team match at WrestleMania with perhaps Cena and Daniel Bryan against the Wyatts and somebody else, I don't know. But Randy Orton certainly took advantage of this, and obviously he's now still the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Now this led to the Royal Rumble match, one of my favourite matches of the year. I mean, I scraped together the pennies to order this pay-per-view, and I watched the pay-per-view earlier today again. The Royal Rumble match, and I know a lot of people, and I'll get to in a minute, who are really saying bad things about this pay-per-view. I don't think the Rumble match was too bad. It did suffer with a couple of people not being involved. I thought the likes of Daniel Bryan or Bray Wyatt, or perhaps a couple other people being involved in the match could have helped it. It was just, in my opinion, it wasn't too bad a Royal Rumble match. You know, it is what it is. 30 guys, they enter at 90-second period intervals, and they wrestle until the last man standing after everybody else is thrown over the top rope and both feet hit the floor. It is what it is. You can't get a huge variation on the Royal Rumble unless they change the rules. The listing for the Royal Rumble, I've got the list here that I wrote down as they were coming out. The entrance in order was, of course, CM Punk, made number 1 by Director of Operations for the Authority, Kane. 2 was Seth Rollins of The Shield. They both obviously started the match, and then the interval period started. Next up was Damien Sandow. He was actually the first elimination as well. He was eliminated by CM Punk. Then it was Cody Rhodes, Kane, Alexander Rusev, who is an NXT guy. I watch NXT, it's on Sky Sports in the UK. I've been impressed with him. I think he has got some potential in the WWE if they handle his character right. He's a big Russian type, almost like the guy that was in WWE a while back, but Vladimir. But I do think that was a great opportunity to have a guy from NXT in. Next up in entrance 7 was Jack Swagger. Next up 8 was Kofi Kingston. Now Kofi Kingston did his traditional escape, Now, this was actually a quite good escape. He was thrown over the top rope, and after Alexander Rusev had been eliminated by several of the members in the Rumble, he actually caught Kofi Kingston. He caught him almost like the world's strongest slam mode, like cross body attempt that had been blocked, and he slammed Alexander Rusev slammed Kofi Kingston onto the crowd barrier. Now it's lucky, I made a point on one of the news websites, Facebook pages, it was actually lucky that any of the wrestling fans didn't just go up and go, push, and Kofi Kingston go, down, because a couple of them were looking at him like they were going to do that. It's actually lucky for Kofi Kingston that they didn't do that, otherwise he would be eliminated, as his feet hadn't touched the floor. He was eventually able to clamber up, stand up, and using the crowd barrier that goes out up the aisle, he took a running jump from the end of the barrier onto the ring apron and was able to survive yet again in the Royal Rumble. And this isn't a too bad one, but I said he was kind of lucky that no fans went push. Because that was my thought immediately, because a few of the fans were looking at the camera, looking at him, looking at the camera, looking at him, looking at the camera, looking at him, and I thought, if somebody does something here, pushes him over, which would have been painful as well, because there was lights down at the side of the barrier, that would have been it for Kofi Kingston. Then it was Jimmy Uso, Goldust, who accidentally eliminated his brother Cody after losing the tag titles earlier in the night. We may be looking at a match finally between the two at WrestleMania. Then Dean Ambrose, Dolph Ziggler, R-Truth, Kevin Nash entered at number 14 with dyed brown hair. I can assure you it was dyed, because he's the one who's over in the UK. That is the colour of his hair now, which at that time it's grey now. And Roman Reigns entered at number 15 to finish the first half of the entrance. Then it was the Great Khali. Then it was the return, first time since July, for Sheamus. Then The Miz, Fandango. Then a Royal Rumble record was broken by the smallest competitor ever in the Rumble, El Torito of the Los Matadors. Antonio Cesaro, Luke Harper, Jey Uso, then a surprise entrant, JBL, who was on the commentating with Michael Cole and Jerry the King Lawler. He entered the Rumble. Then Eric Rowan, Ryback, Alberto Del Rio. Then came the final three, Batista, Big E Langston, and Rey Mysterio. Now, as I said, it wasn't the world's greatest Rumble match. It was an okay match, so I said. The crowd really, really were booing when Rey Mysterio came out at number 30. Not because it was Rey Mysterio, because he is as popular as ever, but because it was not Daniel Bryan. Now, Daniel Bryan was over. When he came out for his match with Bray Wyatt, the vast majority of the 15,000 there were all putting their arms up and chanting, yes, yes, yes. I mean, he is what they call over popular in the WWE, and a lot of the fans were really not happy, because I know, again, looking online, looking at everything, a lot of people were even putting bets on for Daniel Bryan to win the Royal Rumble, and to be honest, a lot of the betting shops, some of the betting shops now are actually accepting bets on WWE events, and a lot of them had like the likes of Daniel Bryan to win the Royal Rumble. You just look online for those kind of things, and a lot of people had put money on Daniel Bryan to win, and a lot of people were picking Daniel Bryan to win, but he was not involved in the Rumble at all. It came down to the final four of Sheamus, CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and Batista. So one of these four guys would go to WrestleMania 30 to face the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, whoever it is, currently Randy Orton, at the Showcase of Immortals, the big one. Now, CM Punk who had survived from being the first entrant and made it to the final four, was actually eliminated by the person who he eliminated and has had a lot of trouble with lately, Kane. Now, Kane came out of nowhere, pulled CM Punk over the top rope and eliminated him, then threw him into the crowd barrier. Obviously, Kane not wanting CM Punk to win. Now, Stephanie McMahon had said that he was not allowed anymore to put his hands on WWE superstars, or anybody, any WWE superstars, because he was not a superstar himself now. He was a member of the Authority, but the rules did not apply last night because he was a competitor in the Royal Rumble. Obviously, Punk got beat down as well, but by Kane. Could this be another match for WrestleMania? Elimination Chamber, of course, is coming up on February 23rd, I believe it possibly is. And that was advertised last night as well, and probably on pay-per-view here in the UK as well. So that certainly heading towards setting up matches, of course, for WrestleMania, as I said. After CM Punk was eliminated, Sheamus was eliminated, so it came down to Roman Reigns and Batista. Now, the fans were obviously behind Roman Reigns, who had earlier almost been eliminated by his Shield cohort, Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose, after Roman Reigns, who actually set the record in this Rumble match for the most eliminations in a single Rumble match. He broke Kane's record by 1. He broke it by eliminating 12 people to Kane's 11. So that Kane might be a bit upset that his record no longer stands. And Kane actually almost has Shawn Michaels, I believe it is, record of. He's 2 behind Shawn Michaels, I think it is, in complete and total Rumble eliminations. He's about 38 to, I think, Shawn's 40. Kane didn't manage to eliminate anybody for, I think, the 2nd consecutive year. So that Kane did not was not able to break Shawn Michaels' record so he didn't even add to his total so far. But anyway, it came down to Roman Reigns and Batista. Now, obviously, like I said, a lot of fans behind Roman Reigns. Not really any fans behind Batista. They were booing Batista, in fact. Both of these guys traded spears. I have to say, obviously, Roman Reigns' spear looked a lot better than Batista's. Batista's been out of action. He hasn't wrestled in about 4 years. So his spear did look a little bit dodgy. I kind of feared for Roman Reigns at the point where Batista gave him the spear. Physically, because it looked a bit awful. It looked a bit, off, but like I said, ring rust perhaps. Eventually, though, Batista was able to eliminate Roman Reigns to win the 2014 Royal Rumble match. Now, that was not popular with the fans. The fans who had already been booing, they'd even had a chant during the Rumble, "This is awful." Yes, AWFUL, this is awful. They were certainly not happy the fact that Dave Batista came back and won the Royal Rumble 2014. Certainly really not happy. A huge amount of booing to end the Rumble pay-per-view as Batista obviously posed, pointed to the WrestleMania sign with fireworks, pyrotechnics going off. Obviously Batista, as I said, is on his way to WrestleMania 30 to take on whoever the WWE World Heavyweight Champion at that event, April 6th, New Orleans, Louisiana. I have really thoughts about my thoughts about the Rumble pay-per-view, to finish off. It was a decent pay-per-view. Match of the night, as I said earlier, was certainly the Bray Wyatt Daniel Bryan match. From there on, and it was a little bit downhill. Said I've never been a huge fan of Orton and Cena, and it was a bit. And I know that's the thing though. Fans complain when the feuds these days in wrestling goes the end and change really quickly. So 1 month it's like Cena might start a really hot feud or really intense feud with Orton, and maybe a couple of months later he's starting a feud, say with Kane or something, and then they obviously try and have a more lengthy feud, but then the fans reject that as well. Now, certainly, like I said at the start, this pay-per-view has had a huge reaction online. Within a lot of the internet wrestling community, all the websites, all the news websites, and all the amateur reporting websites, and all these people, everybody, like I said, everybody, even Mick Foley and Lance Storm and many others, throwing their hat into throwing their comments into the ring about the Rumble pay-per-view and the direction that WWE is taking. To be honest, in my mind, what WWE are doing, I think they're ducking and diving. I think they're going, everybody, obviously, especially from Rumble to WrestleMania, everybody says, or there's rumours say, this is happening, these two guys are going to go at each other at WrestleMania, this match is going to happen at WrestleMania, they're going to beat them to do this to that, they lay out the storylines, and everybody expects, because it's reported and repeated and repeated and repeated and repeated, everybody expects what's rumoured and what's turned, somebody may make something up or expect something and say, this is what I expected, and it gets repeated and repeated so many times that everybody believes that that is exactly what is going to happen. Whereas I think, not only will WWE be very happy with this huge reaction that their pay-per-view has actually brought, but I think it's a case of WWE ducking and diving, going left when you expect them to keep right, going right when you expect them to keep left, changing the storylines, separating the Wyatt family and Daniel Bryan when people thought he's going to be under the cosh of the Wyatts for a few months, and changing up what they're thinking of doing, and changing up the storylines, because as obviously everybody puts their 2 cents in, their pennies in, or whatever currency you use, putting their thoughts on what exactly is going to happen in the WWE. Now, obviously, sometimes the WWE, and I'm sure a lot of people accuse WWE of having their heads up their rear ends, and not knowing what's really going on in the wrestling world, or not paying attention to the fans, or what's they're being reported on the internet, etc. But the truth is, the absolute truth is that I think WWE does take more notice of some of the stuff on the internet than people think. So they say, some occasion they say, what? Well, people obviously guess, no, we've got planned, but this is what we've got planned, and we're going to go ahead and doing it, and we're going to go ahead and do this anyway, even though whether they like it or not. And they're also, I think, especially it looks like in the Royal Rumble, and perhaps right up on this road to WrestleMania that we're now on, is saying, no, we're going to change this. We're going to change this, this, and this. Everybody's expecting us to do this. Everybody believes we're going to do this. No, we're going to do that. So it's going to be an exciting time for the road to WrestleMania 30, New Orleans, Louisiana. I'm actually going, I'm not sure entirely just now where I'm going to watch WrestleMania. Depends on what I'm up to. I've got a couple of offers, and I'm deciding to see, depends on what I'm up to on the WrestleMania date. But certainly I'll be tuning in, like millions of other people around the world, to watch WrestleMania's start of the build-up tonight. Well, the start of the build-up to WrestleMania on Monday Night Raw tonight. The reaction to Batista winning the Rumble, Orton keeping the title. Is it going to be Batista Orton? Of course, we still got the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view on, I believe, just checking, I believe it should be February the 23rd. Yeah, I believe it's February 23rd for the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, which promoted last night in an advert starring Stephanie McMahon. Yeah, it was quite actually it was quite strong, breaking one of the WWE action figures. But certainly, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens tonight on Monday Night Raw and seeing the reaction to all of these fans online who think they know what's coming and know what WWE are going to do, and to see what WWE has exactly planned for them. And by the way, I forgot to say, my prediction actually came true. I wrote that last night. My prediction, Batista for the Rumble win. I forgot I should have showed you that, but that was wrote last night before the pay-per-view began. Because I genuinely did think everybody's moaning, complaining, saying that Batista will win. Will WWE change it or no? Simply, like I said earlier, a few minutes ago, WWE may even change everything in their build-up to WrestleMania. But like I said, Raw tonight, UK time of 1 AM on Sky Sports. It's going to be good build-up to WrestleMania. It is going to be a good look tonight to see what starts off as the Shield breaking up. What's the deal between the Wyatts and John Cena? What is Randy Orton going to do? Who's his next challenger going to be? Because I believe he probably will have to defend the title at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. So all that and a lot more coming in just a few hours as I record this on Monday Night Raw. But this looks like exciting time. I really can't wait. We are now officially on the road to WrestleMania.